Good day to you all, my wonderful students. I hope you are all keeping safe and staying safe. Please, always read your notes, no matter what. You might be at home. Please don't waste all your time playing. Once the government asks us to resume back, your exam will follow immediately. Ensure you read all your notes, assimilate them, and do exercise. You can take past questions, and please practice them. With this, you are sure of making an A in all your subjects. I remain your sincerely Ayewole Alaba Adepeju. Today, we are going to be having another revision topic. The topic is endocrine system, and where we'll talk about plant and animal hormones. I purposely brought up this topic again because I know it's one of the questions that WAEC always bring out at least once in 2 years, if not yearly. Please listen attentively and let's start the class. Like I said, today we are going to be treating endocrine glands and hormones, where we'll be talking about different plants and animal hormones. But before then, it is important for you to know the lesson objective of this revision class. The lesson objectives are, at the end of this class, you must be able to define or state the meaning of endocrine and hormones. Then you should also be able to identify the different plants and animal hormones. And finally, you should all be able to state the functions of these plant and animal hormones. First, let's define endocrine system. The endocrine system is made up of the endocrine glands, which produces hormones. Hormones, on the other hand, are organic substances secreted by plants and animals that function in the regulation of physiological activities and maintaining homeostasis, that is, the internal environment. Hormones, which are sometimes called chemical messengers or organic substances, are produced by ductlet glands, which we all know to be endocrine glands. Like we human beings, our body produces different hormones depending on the area of the body which they are all coming from. For example, in women, we have estrogen and estrogen, which are normally needed, especially when the woman is about to be pregnant or during pregnancy. We have different hormones. That is why some women, they have some problems, especially when they want to, when they are not conceiving on time. They will say is the hormone system in their body are not balanced. They refer to it as hormonal imbalance. So our body, different parts of our body produces different hormones. So also in plants and animals. This is a picture of a human body with the different endocrine glands and where the hormones are actually secreted. Here we have hypothalamus, we have pituitary gland, we have thyroid glands around our neck, we have thymus, adrenaline gland, pancreas, ovary in female, and testes in male. Remember I said even in our reproduction organs, different hormones are always secreted there. We have kidney and parathyroid glands. So we have different hormones that are secreted in every or major part of the body system. Now let's see the major definition of what an hormone is. Hormones are used to communicate between organs and tissues to regulate physiological and behavioral activities of the system. Examples are digestion system, metabolism, respiratory system, sensory perception. Then it is also needed in growth and development and also in reproduction. Yes, it is necessary in growth and development. If at the point of meeting, that is a man and a woman, the couple met, and the hormones they produce at that time is not the required hormones, you see that once that child is being brought forth, it will be having one default or the other, or maybe a lack in one of the organs of the body. So also that is why they also said it is necessary. Hormones are very necessary, especially in the area of reproduction, growth, and also development. If the hormones in your body are not well produced, the person will have one defect or the other when that child is being born. That is the definition of what an hormone is. This is another picture of the hormone system in our body and where they are actually secreted. You can see the ovary, that is for the female. We have also the testes for the male, that is where a certain hormone is being produced, especially in the times of reproduction. Also in our kidney and every other part of our body, our thyroid gland, the pituitary gland produces different hormones which have different activities they performed in the human body. Now let's move on to the functions of hormones. We have different functions of the hormone in human body. First, it helps to regulate the composition of the internal environment, the one we refer to as homeostasis. That is the activities that takes place in the internal environment of the body system. It also helps to stimulate or control growth and many other activities of the body, which progress without the organism thought. That is, the hormones present in our body, especially the ones that are helpful in the time of growth and development, they have a progressive steps in which they work. And as they are working, most of the organisms in our body, we don't even know. But as like I am a woman, the way my body developed, I might not know, but it is people that will see me, Miss Aiwole, you are adding weight, or Miss Aiwole, you are losing weight, or you are looking beautiful, my skin is glowing. These are a result of hormones that are in our body. Some people, they are not feeding well, they are not eating well, but you see their skin shiny. It is due to the production of some certain hormone in the body, which actually help in the growth and development of the body, especially in the area of other activities too. It also helps in the circulation of blood. Yes, there's a particular hormone that actually helps in the circulation of blood to every part of our body. And finally, hormones also help to coordinate organs of our body. That is, every organs of our body functions with the help of an hormone. Our heart, our lungs, our liver, bladder, heart, every other part of our body functions with the help of hormone in our system. Now let's see some endocrine glands, the hormones they produce, and their major function. The first one we are going to be talking about under hormones is the one we refer to as growth hormones. Growth hormone can be seen in the pituitary gland, and their function is they help to regulate the growth and development of every part of our body, from the strand of the hair on our head to the sole of our feet. There are certain hormones which we refer to as pituitary gland hormones, or we call them growth hormones, are responsible for these activities to take place. Another one we are going to be looking at is the tyrosine, which is produced in the thyroid gland. They help to control carbohydrate, protein, and fat metabolism in our body. That is why you see that whenever we eat any type of food or any classes of food that we take in, there are certain hormones that are responsible for their breakdown. Carbohydrate will go to its side, fat, protein, and every other nutrient will be settled where they are needed. That is tyrosine. Then the next one we are going to be looking at is the adrenaline, which are mostly produced at the adrenal gland. These adrenalines prepare the body to deal with emergency situation. Yes, that is, whenever emergency arises, adrenaline glands are always there to help the body deal with that situation. In the case of an accident, maybe you are driving and an accident occurs due to shock. If the hormone is not functioning well, you see that the person might lose his or her life as a result of that shock. But because of the adrenaline gland, it helps the body to quickly grab its position or stay intact in an emergency situation, especially in the times of shock. We also have another one which is called insulin. Insulin is produced at the pancreas. This helps to regulate the blood sugar level in our body. Insulin will always help excuse me, to break down every sugar content in our body, glucose and the rest. And once this is done, it will help to regulate the sugar level in our system. If our insulin is not functioning well, because of high sugar content, it will result to what we call diabetes. And we all know that diabetes has different types. We have type 1, we have type 2, and type 3, depending on whichever one that is affecting the person's body. If the insulin is not well in place, is not functioning well, there's no way it will help to regulate the blood sugar of the body. And that is why it is advised that once a man or a woman attains the age of 40, we should go at least every 3 months to check our blood sugar level and our cholesterol level, so as to be able to ascertain if we are fit or not. At least if we are not, we'll be able to do what it is required for us before it actually gets out of hand. Mind you, if somebody is suffering from diabetes, there's no wound in that person's system, in body, that can heal on time. Some at the end of the day might not even heal because of the high blood sugar level in that person's system. Now let's look at another one. Another one we are going to be talking about is testosterone. This is actually found in the testes of male body. It causes the development of sexual organ and secondary sexual characteristics in male. That is, all the sexual organ that is in male, it's help in developing them and also maintain the secondary sexual characteristics of this organ found in our males. And the last one we are going to be talking about is estrogen, which is found in the female ovary. This also helps in development of the sexual organ and also in the secondary sexual characteristics in females. Let's see the effects of some hormones that is under-secreted and over-secreted. Like I mentioned earlier on, if hormones are not properly in place in our body, it will cause one defect or the other. And if the secretion is too much, it is also causes one defect or other. That is why hormonal balance needs to be in place. Once the hormone system in our body, especially during reproduction in male and female, is well balanced, their offspring will be of perfect condition. But if it is over-secreted or under-secreted, it will lead to one defect or the other. Like my picture here, you can see this man is very tall. He's a giant, and we refer to that defect as gigantism. And this other man here is very short. That is dwarfism. That is, the hormones that are secreted from both parents are under-secreted. They are not enough. That is why you see this defect occurring in this man. He's very short. He's not of normal height. He's very, you see them, you might have seen one person or the other around your area or environment that are dwarf. And you might have seen somebody that is a giant too, very tall, huge, fat. They refer to it as gigantism. This is as a result of under-secretion or over-secretion of a certain hormone, especially the growth hormones in the system. Another one is the thyroid glands that actually lead to a defect known as cretinism. When this occurs, it normally occurs during infancy, and the condition is known as cretinism. That is, the important hormones that are supposed to be produced during the time the woman is pregnant is not enough. And it is usually due to the lack of iodine. If the iodine content during that time is not as much as required, you will see this defect. You'll have seen a child, either a boy or girl, that looks like this. In fact, when you see them, you'll be looking at them like, what is wrong with this one? They look so lazy, so dull, as if there's no life in them. And I'm sorry to use that word. They look ugly, and they didn't wish to be like that, but it is as a result of one hormone that is missing during the mating of the parents. That is why you see them looking like this. This is another effect of over or under secretion of some certain hormones, especially growth hormones. Now let's talk about plant hormones. All what we have been discussing since are the ones that actually affect human system. Now let's see hormones that are in plants. Plant hormones are not the same as animal hormones. We should all know that, because they are not produced by glands and they do not move about the body of plants. Unlike human hormones or animal hormones, they always move around every part of our body. Like I said, from the tip of the hair. Do you know there's a certain hormone that is actually responsible for the growth of hair? You see some people, their hairs are very long, and in some, in fact, there's no amount of cream, no amount of treatment, no amount of anything that they do to the hair, it will still grow. It is as a result of a particular growth hormone that is not functioning or that is not in place. Like I was saying, plant hormones are not the same as animal hormones because they are not produced by glands and they don't actually move around the body like the animal hormones. Plant hormones causes a reaction in the organs which they are produced. We have different types of plant hormones. The first one is called Auxin. We have Cytokinins. We have benzoic acid. We have chromatin. And we also have Untitled Acetic Acid. We are going to be talking about them one after the other. Let's pick hormone, Auxin for the first one. Auxin is the most important naturally occurring hormones in plants. It is produced by dividing cells that are formed at the meristem, just behind the tip of the stem and root. That is where you can actually see this Auxin located in plant hormones at the tip of the stem and at the roots. It plays an essential role in the coordination of growth in plants. That is, without Auxin being present in a typical plant, growth might be retarded or growth might not actually take place. Action of Auxin can be observed as tropism. Yes, you know, in plants, like if you want to perform an experiment on photosynthesis in the laboratory, when you actually plant your plant and put it as it's growing, you put it at the side of the window where there is ray of light. As that plant is growing towards that light ray, that process is called tropism. But for light, it has a particular name. They call it, for water, they call it another name, hydrotropism. We have hydrotropism, we have geotropism, and many other, depending on the area where they are needed or the action they are really taking place. So this is a diagram that actually shows how plant hormones look like. This is plant hormone, and they are divided into two. We have the first one called growth promoters, and the second one is growth inhibitors. Under growth promoters, like I mentioned earlier, we have Auxins, we have Cytokinins, we have Gibberellins. On growth inhibitors, we have the ones called Ethylene and Abscisic Acid. That's the grammatical representation of plant hormones. Like I've shown you the animal hormones too from man picture. Now let's talk about these plant hormones one after the other. The first one I explained earlier on was Auxin. Let's throw more light on Auxin. So like I said, Auxins promote plant growth by facilitating the elongation of the developing cell. That is, the cells present in plant hormone, which I told you are normally seen at the tip and roots of the plant. Auxins help to develop these hormones, especially the cells. And once the cells develop well, you see the plant growing very well, flourishing with green color leaves. It also induces flowering of plants. That is, you see the seed coming out beautifully well matured. It is also help in retention of fruit. You see their fruits coming out very big, very sweet, and it also breaks dominancy in seed. Auxin is also induces fruit ripening. That is, if Auxin is present in a particular plant, before you know it, the fruits of such plants will ripe on time. And it also, Auxin also helps during the induction of fruit formation. That is all about. Let's see another plant hormone. The second plant hormone we are going to be talking about is Gibberellins. Gibberellins are a group of plant hormones that, like Auxin, they also promote plant growth too. They are of about 60 types That is, we have different types of gibberellin. There are over 60 types of them. They are abbreviated as GA1, GA2, GA3, GA10 till the end of it. And they are also synthesized in young leaves, roots, and shoots, and then transported to other parts of the body. Once you see them on the leaves and the roots, they always carry it, they carry the hormones on every part of the plant. This plant that we are seeing here actually supposed to be a dwarf. They don't grow very tall, but because of gibberellin present in that plant, you see them flourishing very well with good fruits, good seedlings. That is with the help of that plant hormone referred to as gibberellins. Then the third one we are going to be seeing is called cytokinins. Cytokinins are a group of hormones that stimulate cells division. They help during cells division. They are also produced in roots and they are transported throughout every part of the plant. They have a variety of effects depending on the target organ. That is the function of cytokinin, also a plant hormone. The third one, which is a growth inhibitor. The first three we talked about are growth promoters. This one is a growth inhibitor, which is ethylene. Ethylene is a gaseous hormone that promotes ripening of fruit. You can see from this banana here, the first 5, I think, are well ripened, while the other 2 are just getting ripe. This is as a result of ethylene. Here in Nigeria, or let me say Lagos mostly, once during the season of banana or plantain, you see most women that sell seed, they use something called cardboard. They put cardboard in it and fold it with layers of clothes so that it will help promote the ripening of fruit. I heard that cardboard is dangerous, that it is not good for our health. I think it's normally used by motor mechanic, those people that repair, but you saw some of our food sellers use it to ripen our fruits, and it is bad. If during the planting of this plant or such crops, ethylene has been put in place, our fruits will ripe on their own instead of using growth inhibitors. Yes, let's continue. During the later stages of fruit development, ethylene gas fills intracellular air space within the fruit and stimulates its ripening, like I've just mentioned, by enzymatic breakdown of different cell wall that is present in such plants. You can see this apple here. These are ripening already while others are still struggling to get ripe. That is as a result of ethylene present as a plant inhibitor. Now let's see the last one. The last one we are going to be talking about on plant hormone is the ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is a growth inhibitor. It promotes stomata closing during drought stress. Yes, it's very good in that area, and it also promotes leaf aging when plants go dormant for the winter. That is, during the winter, if you have the opportunity to have traveled out, or even in the area, some areas of Nigeria, during winter, you see most of these plants, they will be aging. They will look old. They are not looking beautiful. But because of the presence of this inhibitor, it helps dormant cells to at least grow and glow during that period. Like I said earlier on, it also helps to promote stomata closing during drought stress. With this, we have come to the end of today's revision class. From where we started, remember our topic is endocrine glands and hormones, where we actually talked about plant and animal hormones. I gave you there are more than 20 hormones present in the human body. I believe we've talked about 10 of it. They are all in your notes. You can actually get a comprehensive note on this topic from our notes, which you have all written. We also talked about plant hormones. We have talked about 5 of it. The first 3 are the plant growth, while the other ones are growth inhibitors. And if you want to read more on this topic, please kindly get our recommended test. Our recommended test, Modern Biology for Senior Secondary School. We also have Excellence in Biology for Senior Secondary School, Book 3 by F. Fakeye, and also Essential Biology for Secondary School by MC Michael. Please endeavor to read all your notes. Your exam is at the corner. Just before you know it, you'll be called to come and start your WAEC. And with all my notes, with all the videos I'm trying to make for you as revision, if you follow them, you are sure of having an A in biology. And I pray God will grant this request. But it is not, God will not come down and write this exam for you. All I need from you is to read your notes, do some exercise. You can get from your mates, or you go to the bookshop, buy as many as possible. Past question on biology. WAEC are fond of doing one thing. They repeat questions after questions. I have 15 years experience working in biology. That is why I'm particularly bringing out some topics that I know every year they normally come out. The first revision I did for you was on sense organ. And you know we have 5 basic sense organ in our body. I've treated that. And this is hormone too, plant and animal hormones. With this, I bet you are sure of having an A in biology, but you must ensure that you read all your notes, practice some exercises, and I pray God will grant you all retentive memory. With this, I want to tell you that we have come to the end of our revision class for today. Let's make it a date next week for another interesting topic. Please ensure you keep safe, wash your hands regularly, sanitize them with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, wear your facial mask whenever you go out, and maintain social distance, at least 2 meters away from the next person to you. I wish you good luck in your daily activities. Bye for now and stay blessed.